there, campers. Your friendly neighborhood penguin Bob here, and let's get ready to rumble! Because it's going to be a fight to the ages. Bob Chapek versus Bob Iger versus yours truly. So stay tuned. Okay, let's get to it. I found an article back in November of last year on Variety called Iger's Big Disney Reorg Aims to Fix Problems He Helped Sow. Well, that's obvious. These are all problems that Disney has had, created by Bob Iger when he was back in reign of command before Bob Chapek. So how is this actually really a fix? Well, anyway, let's see what the article says. It says, not even a full day after his surprise return to Disney, this happened shortly after Thanksgiving, Bob Iger made his first move to reshape the House of Mouse and undo the tenure of his successor/predecessor, Bob Chapek. In a memo to employees last week, actually back in November, Iger announced that he would reorganize the corporate structure, which he's been doing, and that Chapek implemented in 2020, which consolidated all content, budgeting, and release strategy under the Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution Unit, or DMED, headed by Chapek Lieutenant Kareem Daniel. And Bob Iger has actually been doing that, restructured quite a bit. I think it's kind of funny, though. Almost like he retired just in time before the bug hit and everybody was in lockdown and Chapek took over. Iger comes back, gets rid of Chapek, and comes back, and it's almost like now he's got a fall guy even though he set up the fall guy. The new restructuring seems designed to reassure Wall Street that Disney's management of streaming will change. Chapek's creation of DMED was seen as a move to accelerate and streamline the company's desire to direct the consumer strategy by placing responsibility for all streaming content under a single unit, aka Disney Plus, in other words. Investors certainly saw it that way. As a result, the DMED also shouldered responsibility for Disney's massive losses on streaming, which more than doubled year over year from $630 million to nearly $1.5 billion in the most recent quarter. That's what you get when you go woke. You go woke, you get broke. Anyway, now as the street shifts away from the all in on streaming mentality that Disney's put kind of like all their eggs in a basket that dominated the last few years, Iger seems poised to give responsibility back to Disney's separate content units, which could help convince investors that the Mouse House plans to keep its approach diversified. I'll be honest with you, even if they do diversify, the main problem they've got here is they've got to change their content. Change from a platform agenda style to actually telling good stories like they used to. I'm guessing Walt Disney himself would not be happy with the state of the current Disney regime. It's sad to see such a legacy go down the tubes, all because of a couple of woke CEOs. The reinstated CEO plans to implement a new structure that puts more decision-making back in the hands of our creative teams and rationalizes costs, he wrote in the memo, adding, now, why would they have to put it back into the hands of creative teams if it was already there in the first place? That tells you it wasn't. That all the decisions they were making to make all these shows at Marvel and Star Wars and all these IPs that they've created and all these even Disney Plus shows, it tells you that it was not based on good story or creative design. It was based on one thing alone, pushing their agenda, the woke agenda. They're finally seeing the fruits of those labors going downhill. They're finally seeing that Something's got to change. I'll be honest with you. I think this bringing in Bob Iger after Bob Chapek thing isn't going to change anything. I think it's going to be more of the same until they finally get to the point to where they realize they've got nothing left. The money is going down the tubes quicker than they can actually make content. They have got to realize that it's not going to get any better until they change, make content that the normal people, normies out there, want to see. Go back to the way things were 10, 12 years ago when Disney made good content. That last part will be key to Iger's success. In his second go-around at the company, it clears that Disney board is hoping the reinstated CEO can fix Disney's streaming strategy. I don't even think duct tape and a hammer would fix it at this point, which has amassed a subscriber base to rival Netflix. And you got to wonder just how much that's inflated, but racked up a huge loss at the same time. With Wall Street having turned on streaming and its sky-high expenses, Iger's first task will be to bring costs down as quickly as possible. Right. There's obviously plenty of reason for the board to have confidence in Iger, who deserves credit for building Disney into media colossus it is today. But almost all these plans and everything he's had, he's the one that implemented them right before he left. So the direction that this company's been going, I thought Chapek was going to give the opportunity to kind of right the ship. It takes a long time for a large company to make changes like this. They changed captains again, back to the guy who started all this junk. How is that going to fix the situation? I don't think it will. Chapek's org structure was unpopular among Disney employees and with Iger himself. Many creative executives reportedly resented having decision-making power taken away from them, and insiders groused that the hierarchy slowed Disney's content pipeline. I personally believe Iger's the one that started doing that long before Chapek came in. Iger's feelings about the structure were clear from his internal memo, in which he wrote, "It's my intention to restructure things in a way that honors and respects creativity as the heart and soul of who we are," and announced that Daniel would exit the company. I don't think this is going to move the hill one way or another. I don't think it's going to change the needle. I don't think content's going to get any better at Disney. I think it's actually, if anything, it's going to get worse. I agree with the YouTuber Neurotic, Gary from Neurotic. He says, let them die. And maybe that's what needs to happen. It needs to go faster. It needs to get to the point where they go more woke and go to the point to where it's just insane, so that they finally reach the bottom barrel and have only one chance to look up and change what they're doing and go a different direction and realize that the customers are not going to buy this junk. They're not going to put up with it. And I honestly have been seeing the change and the shifting in the last couple of years. Finally, normals, ones that are not geeks, are finally getting tired of this stuff and seeing the pandering to it. I mean, just look at the most recent Marvel movies that came out. They just, like Wakanda Forever. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm telling you right now, the viewing on it was not near as good as the first Black Panther movie that came out, and that was a blockbuster hit. I love that movie. It's just all this pandering to maybe 3% of the whole watching community, if they even watch stuff on streaming. Who knows if SJWs or woke content or woke consumers out there actually watch this content. I know this much. It doesn't appear to be, because if they were, the content would still be good. The numbers would still be good. The viewing numbers, that is, or butts in seats in theaters would still be good, but it's not. Anyway, that's this little penguin Bob's thoughts on this. And I'd love to have the opportunity to discuss further with you. So feel free to leave your comments down in the description there. And if you really liked what I said here, I hope you actually hit that like button and maybe even subscribe. If you don't, I thank you for your time and thank you for watching this crazy little penguin. And I will catch you later, peeps, because this little penguin is out the window because the door is shut. Later.